Hello, and welcome back for another speed build video today. Today, we're going to be building a doggy daycare. Now, not just any doggy daycare. This thing is actually pretty large. A lot of stuff going on. It's like a 7-in-1 doggy daycare. It has all the things that your little furry child is going to need all in one spot. I would love to have something like this near me if I could find one. I called it the Schanuz Stop. And that was just in reference to Mia. So if you're new here, I have a little miniature schnauzer named Mia, and she likes to appear on our streams sometimes. But I also know that a lot of you like to give her treats, so she's very grateful for that. And if you come hang out on Twitch, then you could possibly give her a treat as well. I have a little redemption that you can spend your channel points on to give her a treat. Getting into this build, I knew I wanted to have a lot of fun things going on with this, and that we have like a little space up front where you can buy a lot of dog toys, dog bowls, dog related things of any sort, dog food. And then we have like a break room. And then we have like a little training area where we also host dog shows over on one side of the lot. And then we have a grooming area for them. There's an indoor play area. There's an outdoor agility course. There's an upstairs vet clinic. So it has like everything that you could possibly think of your dog really needing in one spot. We're still getting through some of the stream content that I did back in June. There was a lot of it, but we're wrapping up pretty much. This is like one of the last speed builds that we did. You can see I'm like separating out all of the rooms right now. I have some like separate little dog kennel areas. I just don't like the idea of a dog being in a cage or a crate. So each dog like has their own dedicated room where they can still be separated whenever they need to be. And then I based the entire color scheme of this place based on that sign with the little critters on it with the freezer bunny and the other things. So those are like the three primary colors we are going to be working with in this build, and that we have orange, pink, and then like this kind of cyan bluish color, light blue color. And it actually works pretty well together. I used a lot of cats and dogs for this build, which isn't a surprise necessarily, but I wanted to do that with businesses and hobbies. So those are like, I think, two of the main packs that I use for this. Now, granted, I used a lot of stuff, so it's not a limited pack build by any means, but those were the two that I used the most of for this lot. Now, one thing that I really wanted to come across was that it was colorful, playful. I wanted it to be welcoming. I wanted it to be like a fun space, not just for your pet, but also for people to come bring their pets. So I was trying to be a bit intentional with the layout as well as the color schemes for everything. I don't know if that comes across very well in what I'm trying to say, but I just wanted it to be like a really vibrant, fun space for your animals. You know, we want to treat them well. We also want people to like come into this space and feel welcome, and also just have the time of their lives as well, since we have a lot of things going on where people can just come with their dogs, get them trained, be around other people with their dogs, go to dog shows, hang out in the audience, see what's going on. I love talking about this a lot because it's just a lot of fun stuff that we did with it, I feel like. So I'm getting the little business area up with the front desk right now and getting that figured out. Right now I have 2 bathrooms. I end up actually getting rid of that and scrapping that. Scrapping that. I don't know why I said scratching. I don't know. Anyway, but that ends up just becoming 1 bathroom. And then I have all of these separate rooms. I went over the top with these. So I go back and forth so many times. I get distracted whenever I started like cluttering up some of the rooms, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, we have a lot of different colorful swatches that would go well with these rooms. So with the little dog rooms, each one has its own unique style with the swatch of that wallpaper. And then I made sure that the tile matched. Every room has like a dog toy chest that I made sure matched the tile. There's like a dog statue toy thing that we put in each one. We put a ball in each one that matched the color scheme. So it was really fun. I'll show y'all whenever we go and tour it in just a little bit to see what it actually looks like to get the details. But I was going for this like half wall on the top part. I don't know, whenever you're doing business lots, a lot of businesses don't have roofs. Like whenever you go in town, the next time you go into town, just like look at your businesses. A lot of them don't have roofs to them. So I was like trying to make it look more like a business by putting a half wall on top of the first floor, because I didn't want it to be like a second floor across the entire thing. I don't know. I think it worked really well. I know that there are definitely plenty of businesses that have roofs, but I don't know. For this one, I wasn't really feeling that. That wasn't the vibe I was getting from. And then you saw I was playing around with like a big window over by the grooming area. That makes me think of like whenever you go to some of these grooming areas, you can see in the windows and like see the groomers grooming the dogs. It's kind of like window shopping, but not. It's just you get to watch the dogs and see the dogs. And so I was trying to put like a big window over there that maybe people coming off the street go over and look in or something. I don't know. It sounds a little creepy now that I say it out loud, but it's just like good exposure. And then, people love looking at dogs. I don't know. It's a win-win for everyone. But then with the little platforms, you'll see I have the colors with like red, white, and blue there. That's just to go with the ribbons. So, first place is like a blue ribbon, and then you have a white ribbon, a red ribbon for second place or whatever it is. I go back and I end up changing it because sometimes there's like a yellow ribbon, and so I don't know, I wanted something other than white, so I end up changing that one. I think if I remember correctly, it's been a minute. This has been like a month. I'm trying to remember everything about it, but I don't remember everything about it, so if I'm stumbling on my words right now, that's probably why. But I was trying to figure out the vibe for this front lobby area, and it worked so much better whenever I made that just like one big bathroom. And that's just because we could have an entire wall dedicated to the shelves to put stuff on that we sell. And then I have never use this really tall back couch, and I thought this was the perfect space for it. I don't know, something about it that's really cute and whimsy to it, but also just for like a dog area that's fun and playful like this. I don't know, it just seemed to work really well. That's all I can say. I don't know, I don't make the rules, I just follow them, type of that situation. Put some magazines, put little dog statues and plants all over the place with the little succulent planter that we get with like the cat and dog swatches. Now this was really funny because I was very dedicated to this being like a cat-free zone. We even put the no cats allowed rug out front. And so I thought it was really funny to put this little cat decal kind of peeking over the couch a little bit. So that's just like a fun little nod in some regard. Like a cat's just kind of peeking in to see what's going on. So that's why I hid it behind the couch. And I just thought it was a cute vibe to go with that. Now, obviously, this took a good bit of time to clutter up the shelves because things wanted to slot to them and slot where I didn't want them to. And then for some reason, the middle shelf here, you can only slot things like to the middle part of that shelf. You don't get 3 slots like you do with the other 2 shelves, which doesn't make sense. So it's just kind of finicky. But I was going through putting a lot of fun little balls, bowls, stuffed toys, and like some of them are kids' toys, actually, like most of them are, but I was pretending like they were just stuffed animals or something that your dogs could play with. So, a lot of imagination going on whenever we're building in The Sims. I feel like we have to, just for like what's available to us. I put those dog statues, like we were selling those as well. I really thought that this came together pretty well, but it was just a matter of trying to figure out how I wanted things to be laid out and where I wanted to put everything. Like I've said before, when I do these builds, generally I do bigger builds on stream and I come in with a ton of ideas, but I don't know always how I'm going to execute them. So it's kind of like a fun way to think through live on stream. It's stressful for me, but I hope it's fun for y'all. But I'm trying to like figure out things as I go, which isn't always super easy, especially when you're doing bigger builds. But I was trying to lean into it and just go with the flow a good bit. Now, this is where I was talking about matching the colors really well with the wallpapers here. And I had a ton of fun. I think hands down, this is my favorite part of the build. We're doing these little rooms and like intentionally finding objects and items that had like a swatch that matched with every single wallpaper, which we pretty much pulled off, if I do say so myself, quite well. So I was really excited about it. We put a bed in each one that also kind of matched the vibes and the color tones. I even had fun with the ceilings in these where there's like ones with gradients where it starts with one color at the bottom and then it changes as you get to the top. I actually have some of them, not all of them had a swatch that worked, but some of them where it's like the one color on the flooring, but then on the ceiling it's a different tile color that matches the wallpaper. So I had a blast with these rooms. I'm going to probably talk about it about 20 more times by the end of this video, but they turned out really cute, I think. So one thing that was important to me was having an indoor play area, just in case like if there's rainy weather or something like that that prevents dogs from going out, that they don't have to be just stuck in their rooms all day. And I just thought it would be nice to have an indoor turfed area for the little play, for the little doggos to hang out and have their time together still. And I put some skylights in there, which I thought was a really fun and nice vibe to get some natural light to come in as well. And then I did also put curtains. I kind of forgot about that. I did put curtains in each one of these rooms too, and found a swatch for every curtain that worked. So like I said, I was very anal about the little doggy rooms here. I was like very much into it, and I wanted them to be fun, stimulating spaces, even though I know dogs don't really see a lot of color. So, you know, we know it's there, so it's fun for us to see them in. So, I mean, it's a win for us, I guess, is all I'm trying to say. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm like coming off of a very busy work day right now, trying to record and get this video out, because I've been sitting on this video for a couple of weeks. I've had the speed portion of this video finished. I've just needed to sit down and record myself yapping away about it. So that's what I'm doing right now. Now, I did go through several iterations of the agility course outside. It was such a big space. I was, again, not sure what I wanted to do with the space and how I wanted to lay it out. So I went through several iterations with how I thought that the space would be used really well. And this was before I put an outdoor porch area. So I do end up putting like a pretty large outdoor porch area, and that's just so the little doggos can like have a spot for them to go if it's really sunny. I put a couple of trees outside too, just so they could have some shaded areas, but I did put a big porch. I don't know if I show that on the speed build or if it was something I added after the fact, but there are some ceiling fans and stuff like that too. I even have some outdoor dog houses that I built with half walls, and I still put roofs on them. So I think it turned out really cute. I'm excited to show you all that whenever we go in and tour the build. But now I'm working on the break room. So like I said at the beginning, with those three main colors, that's kind of seafoam green, blue color with the pink and orange. Those were the main colors I was trying to feature. And I ended up putting the pink in the break room with this blue and yellow color scheme, which I thought was a really cute vibe. I was really trying to go for bright colors that popped. Obviously, I don't want everything in the build to be those three colors. I still wanted to incorporate other colors, but I thought that this was like a nice way, because cats and dogs and businesses and hobbies have a lot of blue swatches for things. And so I was like, let's use the blue. So I used a lot of blue from B&H for the doors, the windows, and then the restoration workshop kit that we got with those appliances had the blue and yellow, and the blue matched perfectly with the B&H stuff. And then the yellow appliances I thought was just like a nice brighter color to pop off as an accent. So that's why I did that in there. And then I'm just like going through putting some lighting. I ended up using this corner light. It's not supposed to be a corner light. I don't think it hangs from the ceiling, but it hangs really low. It's actually kind of odd with the ceiling height and the proportion to that light that we got. I don't understand how we're supposed to use that correctly, but it doesn't seem to fit very well. So I ended up putting it in the corner. I was like, that's kind of a cool look with it hanging quite low, that it could be a corner light. It's like almost the opposite. It's like an inverted floor lamp. It's like a ceiling lamp, but it hangs really low, so it's useful like a floor lamp. So I don't know. I'm just saying a lot of random stuff right now, but I'm working on the grooming room now. So I wanted an area where we have the dogs with like a dedicated tub for like big dogs, and then I have this like raised shower space that I was picturing maybe for like smaller dogs, and it's just easier to bathe them that way. I've had quite a variety of dogs growing up in my life. It is, somewhat of an inspiration as to why I wanted to do a doggy daycare build in the first place, but I grew up with a ton of schnauzers, and I had like a total growing up around 4 or 5 mini schnauzers. I had a giant schnauzer, a basset hound, a Malky, like Maltese Yorkie mix. I've had a lot of dogs growing up, and a couple of cats. So, I'm definitely more leaning toward the dog side of things, but I know a lot of you love your cats. I'm here for it. I even set up a thing on my stream where you can actually redeem printing off a random cat. So I'm excited to show that off soon in my streams. So if you want to hang out over on Twitch, you can print a cat, a random picture of a cat, and I'm going to keep it. I have a little photo album that we're going to create over time. But anyway, I keep getting off, on side tangents here, but I love talking about animals. It just gets me going. But I ended up having to groom them a lot growing up. I groom Mia myself a lot of the time. There comes a point whenever I do take her into the groomer to just kind of like, please, make things look a little more refined, because I'm not perfect about it, but I have a lot of experience grooming miniature schnauzers. So I go ahead and groom her and save a lot of money in the process with doing that. But I know with her, it's a lot easier to have like a raised or little shower space as opposed to like in a bathtub. She does not like bathtubs. She kind of freaks out about it. I don't know if it's because of the water that's like steadily rising, if it freaks her out or whatever, but she did not like it, but like for a giant Schnauzer, it was nice to have a big bathtub. So that's where I'm coming from with having the little raised shower area. And we luckily have a lot of debug drain objects that we could put to make it look like and pretend like it's usable. It's not functional in the game necessarily like that. It's more for vibes and energy. But I wanted this whole area to be like a spa kind of vibe to it. So I put the leafy plant pictures in there. I don't know. It just had more of a calm, relaxing sense to it. And I put that mirror that has the light behind it, which I thought was a pretty cool vibe for that space. And that's where I was imagining you take the dogs to go like use the blow dryer. You put them on top of the counter and then you blow dry them, comb them, whatever over there. Now I'm like putting in a lot of the little details more so with like the ceiling tiles. So you can see here what I was talking about with having every ceiling in every room be perfectly, matchy to the wallpaper for each of these. So that ended up taking up a good bit of time. Probably embarrassing a little too much time, but I want it to be perfect, okay? I want the dogs to get the best, even though they can't even really see the different colors necessarily. They still deserve the best. And then I knew for this little room, this is where we have like pet training classes, I was pretending, as well as our dog shows. So it's currently set up more so for the dog shows, but I ended up putting the agility stuff around the room, kind of off to the side, stored away. That way it's like, well, sometimes we break it down, put the chairs up maybe, and then get the agility equipment out for like some dog training or something like that. So we had the little table at the front where like, I don't know if you've seen dog shows. I grew up watching a lot of them with my mom, but they'll like take the dogs, put them up on this table, and that's where they do the whole like raising the tail and looking up under the, whatever, and seeing all the things and all the bits and whatever it is that they do. But I wanted to pretend like that's what that was for. And then I wanted to have like a little, I don't know, awards part for the wall for like previous winners where we feature the history of the dog show. So I have that, and then I end up putting the trophy case over on the other wall. So we pretend like these are previous winners, trophies that have been won over time. I have some business cards over here on the table, just pretending like for dog training or something like that, that you can grab a little business card for our trainers and call them up whenever you want to schedule an appointment or something like that. But I love the little pedestals. I think that it was such a cute nod. You can see now it's yellow over there for third place. So I think it's such a cute nod, though, to have like the little pedestals that you put your dog on at the end of the show, and people can like clap, and you award the doggos there, and they can have their moment on the pedestals. So I think that's a cute little vibe that I did. And then I ended up like putting these weird lights again in the corners there. And then I got a suggestion in the chat about the dog ball and wanting to do something with the dog ball. And I ended up taking that and putting it with the decal in the wall. So it's almost like a 3D effect where we have this wall art where it's like a dog catching a ball playing fetch, and I put an actual rainbow ball in its mouth that's kind of sticking out from the wall just to make it come alive a little bit more. So that was a nice little reference, I think, that was fun and made it more playful and gives it a little more dimension, just to make it more exciting. Then we have this really random like hall space. I had no idea what to do in here, and I got a suggestion to put an aquarium. So I did that. I always forget we actually have aquariums. I think this was the first build I ever put an aquarium in that I can remember anyway. Safer here than for cats. Cats would want to eat them more than likely. So I ended up just putting like a lot of storage stuff here. I put towels, I put some extra dog food, I put baskets, some cleaning supplies. We're going to have a lot of accidents in this place, so we need some cleaning stuff around whenever we can. And then I put that little dog statue out, and that's when I found out we have all these fun swatches that I completely forgot about. So there was literally a dog that matched every room, every single room. So I was like, this is too perfect to pass up on. So I went ahead and put a little fake pet dog friend for each of the dogs that would stay in the room. So they each have their own little dog statue that they can have in there with them, keep them company. But I put a lot of other little cleaning supplies in that little hall space. And then for outside, I was thinking of this as like whenever people come, maybe they want to watch their dogs before they pick them up, let them finish playing a little bit. I was also just kind of channeling inner daycare vibes in a way. Like, I don't know. I remember whenever my parents came to pick me up from daycare or something, if I was having fun with one of my friends, they'd let me stay for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes or whatever, just to get a little extra time. And so I was just imagining that the owners could come sit on the benches there and let their dogs have a couple extra minutes to play around if they were. And then I wanted to put like the community bulletin boards behind them. I just thought it was like a nice little space where they could come in, hang out, and just chat with other owners, maybe exchange numbers. You can set up play dates with other owners' dogs, just like a fun vibe with that. And then I added some like food bowls in the back of that room too. I have food bowls all over the place. I wanted them to be able to have their food whenever they need it. Technically don't need water in here, which is kind of weird, but I don't know why they did that in the game. I think they should need a water bowl and a food bowl, but I get it's just a game, whatever. But it's a sim game. It's supposed to be like all about realism. So please, Sims, make it to where our animals need water. Like, it makes sense. They need water. Honestly, I would argue they need water more than food. I think they could go a lot longer without food than they can without water. So I don't know. They need to fix that in the game, in my opinion. Now I'm working on the vet clinic upstairs, and like I had the little waiting room, and again, I ended up changing the layout quite a bit after I had already set it up, because I was thinking of, I don't know about y'all, but whenever I go to the vet, most of the time, my new vet's not like this now, but every single other vet that I can think of that I've ever taken Mia to, you have a door that you go into, but then each room has another door on the other side of the room where the vet comes in. So like every room has two doors, one where the customer comes in and then another where the vet is from the back comes in. So I was trying to think through that because initially I didn't have it that way. And I was like, wait. Let's have two separate exam rooms. And then each one of them has their own entrance off of the little landing off the stairs. That way we can go into those. And then on the other side where the tech equipment is, the lab stuff, that's where they can enter in from each room. So I just thought it lent to the realism a good bit more. And then after that, I was like trying to figure out how I wanted to lay out the spaces. And I was only going to have one exam room, but then I was like, I think I have space for two. The other one's a little bit tight, but it does work. So we do have two exam rooms upstairs, and then the vet techs and everyone, the actual vets too, have their space where they can do all of their stuff with the lab equipment. So I just thought that lent to the realism a good bit more, and it would just be nice to have two exam rooms as opposed to just one. We want to get people through, and we'd have multiple vets. We wouldn't just want to have one vet there the whole time. So that was a little bit challenging because it isn't the like easiest layout upstairs, I guess. I think I could have still laid it out a bit better than I did. But again, with the stair placement, it always comes down to the stairs. Anytime I have trouble with the shape of a room or like how I'm going to lay out a space, it always comes down to the stairs. But I was just like thinking at the time, I just need a big rectangle upstairs for the clinic. I'll figure it out later. And I think we made it work just fine. I'm probably being a little too, harsh on myself about that. But I made sure I put a little sink in each one with like the soap or hand sanitizer with some paper towels and some of like the cotton swabs and things like that. And I just thought that lent to the vibes. It's kind of weird. I'm used to like having vets where they have sinks in the room, like all the other information, the posters on the wall. I'm gonna go ahead and hop into the game because I'm starting to wrap up a lot of the interior, and then y'all can see what I did with the outside. So the lot has these three traits where it's dog hangout, that's self-explanatory, training ground, which makes sense as well. And then I put bracing breezes just for like the fresh air aspect of it with the animals being outside. But this is the front of the lot. Just put some like nice landscaping with a sign over here and then some bikes and some nice little lighting. So at nighttime, you can see that with the little sign right here too. And then once we head inside, you can see we have plenty of stuff to see up here that we can buy over. We get some treats, some dog toys. We have our little entryway right there with our lobby. And then we have the station over here with the desk where you can check in, do whatever you need to. And then we have our fun little bathroom space. I'll go ahead and get that part over. It's not as exciting, but there's a bathroom here. Yay. And then over here, I put like some agility stuff under the staircase just as like extra storage. And I want to go over here first. So this is the like little training room where we have the dog shows. So you can get more of the gist by seeing this up close. So I was pretending like these were the ribbons that we're about to hand out. So that's why I changed it to yellow too, just so it would match. And then we have the trophy case, plenty of seating. And then as we make our way back over to the lobby and go through this door, this is where our little break room is for the employees. So I think it's a nice little break room. I like the vibes of it. It's at least fun and bright. This is our hallway space. And then we have a little grooming sign over the door there, a little fish tank. And then once we go into the grooming spot area, this is what it looks like up close. in here. So just a nice area for the little doggos. And then we do have the door off of the training over here as well to get to this side. So I was imagining we don't want customers going through our break room. So that's really how the customers get in, is over on this door. But just like a fun little vibe here where they can sit down, watch the doggos play. The dogs have plenty of space to play in here. But I'm going to go in each of these rooms really quickly just so you can get the vibe here for how much fun I had with this. But this is the general vibe with these rooms. Now, these on the end have like a little door from the outside. So if dogs get like overheated, they have access to get into an indoor space. And I put the windows so we could see them, just so we could be like, oh, so-and-so's in the room right here, in case like we don't see them go in or something. I don't know. It's like, I don't want to have a freak out where we're outside and we're like, oh no, we lost a dog. It's just they're inside, but you don't have to actually walk inside to see. This is the space for these over here on this side. So the blue, the green, blue and purpley vibes, and then the red. So like I said, I had a lot of fun with the matchy, and you can see it from the top down more easily too with how they look. So I had a blast doing this part of the build. And then we'll go upstairs, and then this is the vet clinic area. So come up the stairs there, and then you have our waiting room right here. You'll be called out either from this door or this door to go in to see the vet. And then they have access to the little lab space in the back here. So we got a desk with some files. I always picture like how they have the files on or by the door on the wall. So they grab the files as they come in. And that's a fun little nod to that, I feel like. And then from the backyard space, you can see what I was talking about. I really built this out quite a bit. So they have this porch area with some ceiling fans, and they can like cool off. They have little dog beds here that they can go in, but I went ahead and wrapped it around. So it got even bigger. The build got even bigger. I wanted it to be attached to the doors here, so you can come right off the grooming area, let them go outside or whatever and get all nasty right after you clean them up. Or you can go from the dog training area as well and go outside. So there's an access point pretty much from every part of the building to get to the outside. And then once we are outside, we have the kiddie pool. I put sprinklers in. I was just imagining more it was summertime, but you can see the agility course here. So I was kind of imagining that they like start here, go up and down the ramp, jump on there, come across, come in the tube, wrap around the tube, and then jump through the hoops here. And then they finish it off by doing the little agility part here and then get up on the platform there. So that was the track that I was kind of picturing with that. And then we have our little dog houses out here. This was a little bit tricky to do, but essentially what you do is that you have your half walls, and then you can add a basement room below and raise it up, and then you can put the roof piece on top of that raised part and then slide it over. So the tricky part with that is that you just got to make sure it's the right height before you slide it over. So it takes a little bit of finagling, but that's how I did it. I just think it turned out really cute. All I did was put like little dog beds in it. So each one has its own dog bed, but there are windows, so it's kind of like an actual house. But I thought that was a cute little vibe to put in here as well. So I'm putting this on the gallery as the Schanuz Stop, like I had mentioned, and I'm uploading it as a small business venue just because I feel like it's more that than a vet. It has a vet, but the primary focus of it is not the vet. But let me know if you play in it. I'd love to see pictures. I say this all the time, but I really would love to see if y'all play in it. I know it uses a lot of packs, and I know that limits the amount of people who can play in it, and I'm really sorry about that. I will try to start mixing in some more limited pack builds, though. Oh, it's actually nowhere near as bad as it usually is, though. I only have to press the arrow twice. Usually it's like at least 4 times. Usually it's at least 3 or 4 times. So, okay, it's an improvement, but yes, it is still way too much. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for supporting me. And then if you want to check out the VODs, I have 2 streams where we worked on this build. I'll link those down below for you. And then I do have a VODs channel that you could also subscribe to if you want to make sure you don't miss any of the streams. So, okay, bye. So if y'all have any other ideas for animal related builds, let me know, because I actually had a ton of fun with this and wouldn't mind doing another one.